Hey everybody, welcome to Everything's Plastic. Today we're going to be taking a look at a McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Scarecrow. And this is Scarecrow from Batman Arkham Knight.
Now the world can see you for what you truly are. A legend laid bare. Powerless. Human. Afraid.
Awesome version of Scarecrow. Man, this guy looks scary as hell. I can already tell without getting this guy out of the package that this guy looks fantastic, man. Awesome detail on this one. Can't wait to get it out, get a closer look. But first of all, we'll take a closer look at the packaging. You see one McFarlane, you've seen them all. Pretty much the same standard packaging in all these. Plain on the side here. Scarecrow, Batman, Arkham Knight on the side here. Nothing really on the top, nothing but barcodes and all that good stuff on the bottom. But what we do have with these McFarlanes, especially a lot of the newer ones, is some amazing artwork on the back, man. Look at that picture. Looks fantastic. Look at the cool detail on his face, man. Cool detail on his costume and everything else. The needles with fear-inducing toxin there. Looks fantastic. That pretty much wraps up our packaging. We'll be right back with Scarecrow out of the package so we can get a closer look. We are back and we have Scarecrow outside of packaging. This guy comes with this awesome trading card like we're so used to seeing with these McFarlanes. Actually the same artwork that's on the back there. There is a read up there too. Quite lengthy, I'm not going to read it out, but if you guys want to pause now, feel free to do so. The only other thing that this guy comes with is a base, which we get with all these DC McFarlanes. And for accessories,
Get nothing!
exactly, we don't get any accessories with this guy whatsoever. But that being said, I don't really know what this guy would need. Usually I like getting a lot of accessories with my figures. This is one of the few that I'm actually quite fine with not getting any accessories. Maybe it's just the awesome sculpt of this guy. I don't really know, man. So we get a closer look at this guy. Look at the amazing detail on the face, man. Like a lot of people criticize Farlands and all that stuff, and especially a lot of die-hard Hasbro fans. Personally, I enjoy both, and I collect both. That being said, I have well over 700 Marvel Legends, and nothing comes close to the sculpt of this one at all. Look at all the detail on this, man. Even the coloring paint application on this one is fantastic as well. Look at all the detail and all the stitching. Man, amazing. It's not very often that I take a figure outside of the packaging and I kind of get blown away by it, but I gotta say, man, this is actually one of those figures. I'm a sucker for detail too, man. Like, I really love good articulation and everything else, which is something we'll get into with this one. This one actually lacks a bit of articulation, but the overall detail, honestly, man, makes up for it. Love it. I could stare at this one all day. See all the crazy detail there. Tons of hoses and canisters and vials and all that good stuff. Canisters on the back there with the fear-inducing toxin. And we see a whole bunch of holes going down through, man. Is it necessary? Probably not. Does it look awesome? Hell yeah. This one looks fantastic. He's got a noose hanging around his neck, which is pretty cool. Lots of detail into that one as well. Awesome detail on the canisters. Man, I love that face sculpt, man. This has got to be one of my favorite figures of the year. Honestly. Fantastic. Look at those eyes, man. I mean, I can stare at this one all day. I can spin it around. I don't think I'll ever get tired of looking at this one. But you guys at home, that's not what you came here for. You came for a detailed review. So let's carry on with it. Alright guys, for our articulation, his head goes back this far, it goes down this far. You do get some side to side and a full rotation. This little noose hanging around his neck is actually a zipper piece, so I'm sure if you really wanted to remove it, you can pop his head off and take this off. Personally, I actually like it, man. For his arms, I actually heated these up and I can't really get a whole lot of range of motion out of these. And I'm not going to force on it much more than this. I recently did a review on Red Hood, and as soon as I took him out of the package, his hand broke off. So I've been kind of weary with these ever since. I don't really want to put a lot of pressure onto these, especially since I have to pay for all these figures. If people were sending me these figures to review, then yeah, I'd force it and push it a little bit further, but as of right now, I don't want to break my figure. And it wouldn't be the first McFarlane that broke on me. So there's a butterfly joint, so you do get some range of motion out of that. Obviously you get full rotation. This is nice soft plastic up here, so it doesn't hinder articulation at all. Awesome double jointed elbows. Pinned elbows, but I'm actually fine with that. For some reason, I know the pins on McFarlane's are big, but they don't really bother me as much as, say, Hasbro figures. Very picky, depends on the figure, I guess. Alright, so there's a ball joint up here too. We go around to the back here, we can see the ball joint here. And you get some range of motion out of that. I really like how McFarlane actually puts a soft plastic over it, so it actually covers up the ugly joints. It does hinder articulation a little bit, but I'm completely fine with that. I bought McFarlane's basically for the overall sculpt and appearance of these. So for his torso, it goes side to side, and you get some back and forth too. Usually there is a ball joint on the bottom here. I can't get this plastic moved far enough to see if there's actually a joint there. And like I said, I don't want to break this one because I really like this figure, and I don't really want to buy another one. There is a little bit of range of motion there above the waist. I mean, it just kind of adds to the overall articulation of this one. So both ball joints work together to get a pretty decent amount of articulation. There is no full rotation, but he's got a lot of hoses and all that stuff there too, so you really don't want to be pushing on this one. You can get him in some pretty cool poses, but articulation is not the selling point for this one. Not in my opinion anyways. Alright, for his legs come out to a complete split. Go forward this far, go back this far, so pretty decent range of motion there. There's no upper thigh cut or anything like that. On his lift leg, there's only a single jointed knee, because obviously he's got a brace on it, so a double jointed knee wouldn't make sense. But over on the other side here, we do have, get this out of the way, we do have some pretty awesome double jointed knees over here. There's a rotation at his boot on this side. Obviously there's no rotation on this side because there's a brace here. The brace on the bottom is actually a separate piece, obviously, because you're going to want to be moving his legs. So if they made it with one piece, it's definitely going to take away from the articulation. And one thing you need articulation on is your feet, especially if you run into problems with trying to get these guys to stand up. So we don't have a swivel or anything like that on this one. It goes back this far, forward this far, and there's a toe hinge as well. Over on this side though, you get a full rotation at the ankle, like we're used to with these McFarlanes. And it goes forward this far, back this far, and there's a toe hinge on this side as well. So let's do one more closer look at this one all the way through. Love it, guys. Can't stop staring at this one. I love the needles and all that stuff, or whatever it's called, on the top part of his hand, especially with all the canisters and everything. Oh man, looks fantastic. Let's do a few quick comparisons. Here we have Ghostmaker over on the side here. We have Batman Dark Knight Returns. And we have Red Hood from Batman Arkham Knights. I think it's Arkham Knights. I have so many McFarlanes now, I'm starting to lose track, to be completely honest. But yeah, we see that Scarecrow is pretty much the same size as Ghostmaker, and a little bit shorter than Red Hood, and a little bit taller than Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. Some of my favorite McFarlanes. These three are definitely in my top 10 McFarlanes. This one being my biggest disappointment for 2022. Alright, we'll do a couple more quick comparisons. Here we have him next to Peter Parker from the Homecoming 2-pack. Here he is next to Age of Apocalypse Magneto from the G.I. Joe Classified line. Here he is next to Crimson Guard and the awesome Bazooka. Fantastic figures. Obviously we know that G.I. Joe and Marvel Legends are 6-inch scale, and McFarlane being 7-inch scale, but just want to do a quick side-by-side comparison just to give you guys a rough idea of how they scale together. That pretty much wraps up our unboxing and figure review for the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Scarecrow from Batman Arkham Knight. Overall, I'm going to give this guy a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing I can really say bad about this one is the restricted articulation. Personally, I'm fine with that, and I would give it a 10 out of 10, but it wouldn't be a 10 out of 10 figure with restricted articulation. Bottom part of his legs have really good articulation. It's just his upper body and his arms have a little bit of restricted articulation. This guy's not really designed to have lots of articulation with all his hoses and his canisters, vials, whatever you want to call it, all over his body. But the overall design of this one, the overall appearance, and the overall sculpt of this one, man, all the awesome detail on this one, I can't give it anything lower than a 9.5 out of 10. This figure is definitely in my top 10 for action figure of the year. Yet to make a list. I know I'm way behind everybody else, but I have so many figures in the boxes. I'm trying to get some of these guys out to give you guys a fair list of my overall opinions. If I didn't unbox this one today, it definitely wouldn't have made my list. So that's why you guys haven't seen a top 10 or top 20 on this channel. Alright guys, as always, let me know in the comments below what you think of our review. What do you think of this figure, and what do you think of our score of 9.5 out of 10? If you guys had to rate this one out of 10, what would you give it? And as always, if you liked our review, hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, and that subscribe button is there as well if you guys want to subscribe to the channel. As always, we hope you enjoyed this review, and we hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Keep collecting, stay safe, go buy some toys. This is pretty cool too. He looks fantastic without the light on him, but then when I put more light on him, man, his eyes just stand right out. Can't see his eyes. Eyes pops. Awesome. Such a child sometimes.